Welcome to the Middle School Cafe podcast, where we're serving up fresh strategies and solutions for ELA teachers just like you. Join us as we explore proven methods to bridge the achievement gap and help every student reach their full potential. Whether you're a veteran teacher or just starting out, grab a cup of coffee and a notepad and let's get started. Here's your host, Carolyn Wall.
Hello and welcome. I'm so glad you're here today. We made it to March, which means that it is spring break season. I know spring breaks can happen anytime between now and sometime in April. Mine is not until the last week in March, so I still have a few weeks. Whether yours is now or later, I'm wishing you the very best spring break, reminding you that it's okay to turn off your computer, put away the school bag, and simply enjoy time with friends and family. Today, we're diving into why teaching vocabulary matters, how it supports comprehension and critical thinking. I have a few older episodes on this topic that I'll link in the show notes if you are looking for ideas to boost your vocabulary instruction. Now, let me ask you this. Do you remember the days of weekly vocabulary lists? You know, where students would copy definitions, memorize them for the quiz on Friday, and then promptly forget them by Monday? Those were interesting days. As education has evolved, we've moved away from that approach, maybe a little too far. Okay, stick with me now. Somehow, vocabulary instruction has taken a back seat or has been sidelined altogether in many classrooms, and I think it's time we bring it back, but in a way that's meaningful and impactful for our students. Let's start with why vocabulary instruction is so important. Honestly, vocabulary isn't just about knowing more words. It's about unlocking meaning, connections, and opportunities for students. Understanding vocabulary enhances reading comprehension. Think of words as the building blocks of understanding. When students have a strong vocabulary, they can unlock the meaning more easily and actually enjoy what they're reading. If students understand what they are reading, they will actually read more. But without a vocabulary foundation, even the best readers struggle. Yes, they can decode the words on the page, but often they have no idea what the text is actually about. A strong foundation is critical for our struggling readers. Often their biggest hurdle isn't fluency, it's vocabulary. Without knowing the meaning of keywords, they can't make sense of the text or follow the storyline. But when students learn new words, they're able to make connections, infer meaning, and grasp those important nuances in the text. Vocabulary is necessary if we want to increase student engagement with literature. Think about how much richer a reading experience becomes when students actually understand the language. For example, in Harry Potter, words like cloak, enchanted, or elixir are essential to understanding the magical world J.K. Rowling creates. Without knowing these terms, students might miss the full wonder and mystery of Harry's adventures. When students understand the vocabulary, they can fully grasp the vivid descriptions and appreciate the imagery and immerse themselves in the story. When students don't have the words to connect with the text, it's like trying to watch a movie with the sound off. So much is lost. By teaching words in context, we give students the tools to truly engage with and enjoy the story. Vocabulary instruction is not just important for reading, it strengthens writing and speaking skills too. We've all read a student essay where the same word is used over and over. Nice, good, bad. It's like their writing is stuck in first gear. But give students a word bank, and suddenly their writing transforms. They can describe characters, explain ideas, and make their arguments with clarity and creativity. The same goes for speaking. Have you ever heard a student struggle to describe something, resorting to vague phrases like, "it was cool," or "you know what I mean"? When students have a stronger vocabulary, they gain the confidence to articulate their thoughts clearly and effectively. Instead of saying, "the book was good," they might say, "the book was thought-provoking and gripping because of its unexpected plot twists and well-developed characters." Expanding vocabulary isn't just about using fancy words. It's about giving students the tools to communicate their ideas, both in writing and in conversation. Whether they're presenting a project, answering a discussion question, or debating a topic in class, a rich vocabulary empowers students to express themselves in ways that are both professional and impactful. This confidence extends beyond the classroom, preparing students for everything from job interviews to social interactions. Vocabulary isn't just an academic task, it's a life skill that changes the way students see and communicate with the world. Vocabulary also supports critical thinking. When students learn abstract words like bias, nuance, or perspective, they gain the ability to think and analyze on a deeper level. These words open the door to higher level discussions and help students engage in meaningful conversations about the text they read and the world around them. And let's not forget, vocabulary builds confidence and independence. When students know more words, they're less intimidated by challenging texts or unfamiliar situations. It gives them the self confidence to navigate new environments, understand instructions, and express themselves with ease. And finally, vocabulary is a lifelong skill. Learning doesn't stop after high school or college. Adults who have a strong vocabulary often find success easier, whether it's landing a job, communicating clearly at work, or even just navigating everyday situations like reading instructions or filling out forms. By teaching vocabulary now, we're giving our students what they need to succeed for the rest of their lives. It's not just about helping them in class, it's about setting them up for success in whatever path they choose. Okay, so now that I've convinced you that vocabulary is important, how do we actually teach it in a meaningful way that doesn't take us back to lists and memorization? I know what you're thinking. I don't have time to add another thing to my already packed lessons. I get it. But the good news is, vocabulary doesn't need to feel like an add on. It can and should be naturally integrated into every unit. Let's talk about integrating vocabulary instruction versus teaching it in isolation. Vocabulary works best when it's connected to the content students are already engaging with. For example, instead of handing out a list of random words, have students learn vocabulary directly from the text they're reading. Take the word allegory in Animal Farm. Teaching the meaning of the word in the context of the novel helps students see how it applies to the story's deeper meaning. When vocabulary is isolated, like memorizing unrelated literary terms, students often fail to retain or apply what they've learned. They have nothing to connect it with. It becomes a simple memorization task. But when students see vocabulary as essential to understanding the text, they're much more invested. Every unit provides natural opportunities to teach vocabulary. In a literature unit, focus on words that enhance comprehension, like figurative language or specific cultural references. For instance, while reading The Outsiders, words like aloof or nonchalant help students understand the characters and themes. Or when teaching To Kill a Mockingbird, words like malevolent or condescend are important to understanding the mood and relationships between characters. If students don't grasp the meaning of condescend, they may miss the subtle ways certain characters, like Mrs. Dubose or Aunt Alexandra, talk down to others, reinforcing themes of class and social hierarchy. But this connection won't happen automatically. We have to be intentional about which words we teach and how we integrate them into the unit. Simply handing students a list of words from a specific unit isn't enough. We need to select vocabulary that deepens their understanding of the text, and then plan specific moments to reinforce those words. When we purposefully choose vocabulary and consistently make connections to the story, students are much more likely to understand, remember, and use those words in meaningful ways. All right, so we've talked about why vocabulary instruction is important and how it impacts reading, writing, and critical thinking. We've also explored how to make vocabulary instruction more meaningful by connecting it to the content you're already teaching. But knowing why vocabulary matters is just the first step. The next step is figuring out how to make it work in your classroom in a way that's engaging and effective. And that's exactly what we're going to jump into in the next episode. If you're looking for practical, ready-to-use strategies to seamlessly integrate vocabulary instruction into your daily lessons, you won't want to miss part 2 of this mini-series on vocabulary instruction. In 2 weeks, I'll be sharing a rapid-fire list of ideas that you can use with your class, from fun classroom activities to quick, no-prep strategies that reinforce vocabulary without adding extra work to your plate. So make sure to tune in to the next episode. In the meantime, take a look at your current or upcoming unit and start thinking about the key vocabulary words your students need to truly understand the material. What words should you highlight? Where do they appear naturally in the text? A little planning now will make a big difference in how students engage with the words they encounter. If you are looking for something you can use now, be sure to check the show notes where I'll be linking to additional episodes and blog posts that will provide you with vocabulary ideas and resources. Thanks for joining me today. If you found this episode helpful, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss part 2. And if you know another teacher who's looking for fresh ideas for vocabulary instruction, send this episode their way. Until next time. Thanks for joining me today. As a reminder, a new episode drops every first and third Tuesday, so be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. Be sure to visit middleschoolcafe.com to find links to everything mentioned in today's show. Until next time.